Hello, this is Raza from DataClear. Welcome to the walkthrough video of my GA4 eCommerce Local Studio template. Each pages of this dashboard have 5 logical structural sections. Although the overview page is slightly different in physical structure, but the logical structure is the same thing. Let me walk you through the 5 sections of this dashboard. The first section is the navigation bar at the extreme left of the dashboard. And I believe it's self-explanatory, but I will still go through it. At the top, you have the title of the page you are currently viewing. Below that is the button that when click, you can go to where you can get this template. And then under that are the pages available on this dashboard. So as you can see, the active page has this color, and then the name of the page is very different. So as you can see, the native color are very different from the active ones. And at the bottom of the navigation bar are links to my social profile. The second section is the filter section. This section also houses the data control and then the date range selector. So if you click on the data control here, you can select your own GA4 property and demo this data using your own GA4 data. So when you click on it, the entire dashboard will be populated by the data from that GA4 property that you selected using the data control. And then you have the session default channel group. So to use this filter, you can click on only to filter the entire dashboard for this option only. And then you can select, or you can leave it as default. And then to select multiple options, you have to deselect all of them, then select the ones that you actually want to filter the entire dashboard by. And then you can also search the option that you want. If the option are plenty, let's say it's a landing page filter. And then the second filter is the section source and media, which work exactly the same thing as this one. And then you have the country filter, then you have the device category filter. And then you have the date range selector here. The default date range I selected here is the last 20 days, but you can easily change it by clicking here, and then and then you can select the one you want. Again, select the one you want. And then you can also select directly from here, select the month, the date. You can also click on this to select the year that you want, the month, and then the date. So, and then you can also use the advanced filter. It allows you to do more advanced analysis using date range. And then the third section of this dashboard is the key metrics section. So this is the section. So you have the key metrics here: total users, transaction, customers, total revenue, average order value, session conversion rate for the purchase event, average revenue per user, and then the average revenue per customer. You can see the aggregated value for the selected date range, which is the last 28 days, and then you can see comparison to the previous period here under it. And then you can see this bar chart here, which is showing trends for each of these key metrics for the last 12 months plus the current month. So you are seeing trend over 13 months here. And then that's all about the third section is the key metrics section. And the fourth section is the trend section. So the default, which show you the daily breakdown by default of each of the key metric that we already explained above. But you can default metric here is the total revenue, but you can use this icon. Anywhere you see this icon, this dashboard, it means optional metric. If you click on, you can add additional metric here and analyze by additional metric. You can combine metric, but you can also just deselect the default one, combine or deselect. You can combine multiple metrics here. So analyze for more advanced analysis. And as you can see, it's comparing to the previous period. You can click the back arrow to go to the default metric, which is the total revenue. So you can see it's comparing to the previous period. And if you click on this drill down icon, it will show you the weekly view instead of the daily breakdown. And if you click the icon again, it will show you the monthly view. But this is different from the monthly view that you are seeing here, because we're analyzing by the last 28 days. The dates you select here affect this line chart, but it does not affect this bar chart here. So if you are to So if you are to compare the number you're seeing here for total revenue for November, which is 25K, as you can see here, to the total revenue for November here, you can see it's very, very different. This is because the last 28 days here has only five days in November. So it's showing you the data for the last 5 days of November, and then for December, it's showing you just for the 23 days that's available. December 2023, 2026, November 26 to December 23, that's the last 28 days. So to have this data to be exactly the same, you have to select the whole of November here. So you can select just November from the date selector here. And you could see that the number is now accurate, $336,730. As you can see, it's the same thing here, $336,730. And if you check November here, it's exactly the same value. So, but you can select more than 1 month, obviously. So let's say you select September to November 30. So you are seeing multiple months performance over the last 91 days. Yes, over the last 91 days, and you can see it's comparing to the previous 91 days for each month. So that's how to use the trend section. So I will click on the reset button to go to reset the entire dashboard to the default date range, and then default metrics, and the default date granularity. And the last section of this dashboard is the breakdown section. So you can see we are seeing performance by country, performance by device category, performance by marketing channel, social media, and then the campaign. And you can see I use both interactive map and then the table for this section, at least on the overview page. So I can also see the optional metric icon, so you can change the metrics that you're analyzing by. So here you can easily see that the majority of the revenue are coming from the United States, over $300,000, and then you can see, and then with the table you can see the comparison to the previous period. The same thing applies to the device category. You can see majority of the revenue are coming from desktop, and then you can see the table, you can compare to the previous period. The same thing applies here. So you can see the default dimension here that you're analyzing by, that you're breaking down the key metric by, is the default channel group, the session default channel group to be specific, and then you can change the view here to session, source and medium, and then again to session campaign. And then you can use the optional metric to change from revenue to average order value. As you can analyze by any of the metric available from the optional metric. So that's all about the overview page. Now let's go to the next page, which is the product analysis page. This page allows you to analyze how your products are performing, and then the sections are very similar. You can see the channel, the filter has changed here. Now have item name, item category, item brand, item list name. Item basically just mean product, so product and product category. So you can analyze, you can filter the entire dashboard by any of the product or combination of multiple products. And the key metrics here: item revenue, item purchased, item viewed, items added to cart, item checked out, and an item purchased to view rate. So it's telling you how much revenue the entire all the products are generated for the selected time date range, and then item purchase, how many items was purchased, and how many items were viewed, and how many items were added to cart, and how many items begin the checkout reach the checkout page, and then items purchased to add to cart rate is telling you that out of the number of items that was added to cart, how many of them was actually purchased. So you are seeing 35.11% of those items that was added to cart was actually purchased. And then you can see on this sidebar, you can see the bubble chart or the scatter chart here. You can see performance by item revenue and purchase to view rate. The further to the right, the higher the revenue generated by that particular product, and then the higher it is, the higher the purchase to view rate. It means this the product, number of times the product is being added to cart compared to the time it's being purchased, meaning it has high purchase rate for the items that were added to cart. And then the bigger the bubble or the chart or the circle, the higher the number of times the particular item have been purchased for the selected time date range. This bubble chart is essentially the same thing, just that the difference is that it it's purchased to add to cart rate instead of purchase to view rate, and then purchase, and then the everything else is just the same thing. The bigger the circle, the higher the number of times the items have been purchased. The further to the right, the higher the amount of revenue the item or the product has generated for the selected date range. And then the trend section is essentially the same thing as the rest, although the default metric here is item revenue, but you can change that and see the daily breakdown, the trend daily break the trend daily breakdown of trends for different for each of the other metrics. And you can also combine item revenue to other metric. So you can, if you click on this, so you see both trends, this trend for both item revenue and then items purchased. And then if you add item view, you can see trends for all the three metrics. But you can also deselect both and just see the trend for just the item viewed. And then you can click on this back button to go back to the default metric, which is the item revenue. And then when you click on the drill down option, as explained before, you can go from daily breakdown to weekly breakdown, and from weekly breakdown to monthly breakdown. I already explained how this works earlier. And then you have the table at the bottom, which is showing you how the performance of each metrics being broken down by product name. So you see how each of these products are performing, how many times has this product been viewed, how many times has it been added to cart, how many times has as it triggered the begin checkout event, and how many times has this product been purchased, and how much has this product generated for the selected date range. So you are seeing comparison to the previous period too, and then you have the optional matrix here to change the metric, the default metric, to the one that you actually want. So you can add this metric and remove the default ones if you want. And then you are seeing the drill down option here, so you can go from item name, so from item name to item category. So you can, instead of analyzing by product name, you can analyze by product category, and instead of analyzing by product category, you can analyze by product brand. So this allows you to go deeper, do deeper analysis with your product category, and then the brand. And then you have the advanced filter here, so you can filter the dashboard by product that have something in common. So let's say you just want to analyze products that contain the word Dino here. So just enter the Dino here. So say item name, product name contain Dino. But you will see that it will give us no data because this filter is case sensitive. So you have to use the exact the exact word as they appear in your data. So as you can see, it's only showing product that contains this word Dino. The same thing, it's exactly the same thing that the item category works. And you can change this from contain to equals, and from to start with, or use regex, or use in. If you know how to use all those parameters, you can do even greater analysis, deeper analysis with those filter. That's all about the product analysis page. And then the purchase funnel page is the next page. So you will see that you are seeing something similar compared to the purchase to the product analysis page, but they are to some extent different. They are similar but different. So item view, add to cart. In the product analysis page, we see items add to cart, but here we are seeing just add to cart. Items add to cart is telling you how many times an item has been added to, how many items was added to cart. But this one is telling you how many times as an item or multiple item has been added to cart. So multiple items can be added to cart at the same time. So this way only give you one. So it only count once if multiple items have been added to cart. So let's say you add two pair of slippers, you added two pair of clothes to cart. This will count as just one. But the items added to cart will count four because you actually added four items to cart. The same to apply to the checkout rate compared to the item checkout rate. Sorry for let me pause this video. Sorry, I have to pause the video because of the dog that was barking. So the rest of the key metrics here for the purchase funnel is a transaction. I have to do that again. Sorry, the dog has stopped barking for now. Start barking again. I have to pause this video. So then another metrics here is the transaction to cart rate and the transaction to checkout rate. So the transaction to cart rate means out of the number of times an item was added to cart, how many times was it purchased? And the same thing here, out of the number of times that the begin checkout event was triggered, that somebody started the checkout process, how many times compare to the number of times that the item or multiple item was actually purchased. So you can see transaction to cart rate is 11.21 and then transaction to checkout rate is 28.50 for the selected time range. And then you have the user purchase funnel here, which tells you how user moves from each stage of your funnel to the next one. So the session starts with 46,000 users, but out of the 46,000, only 13,966 actually viewed a product, which is 30.14% of the total number of people that started the session. And then out of those people, only 5,343 added an item to cart, which is 12.61% of the view item, not the number of users that started the session of the view item. So how many users and percentage move from this stage of funnel to this stage, and how many move from this stage of funnel to the next one and then to the next one. So this is telling you that out of 3,448 people that begin checkout process, only 1,878 of them, 1,878 of them actually purchase an item or purchase the product. So which is 4.05% of the number of people that begin the checkout. You can always change this percentage to the num to compare to the number of people that actually started the session instead of from stage to stage, but I actually prefer from stage to stage for the most part. And then the trend section is still the same thing, which means you are seeing the daily breakdown by default, but you can change to the weekly breakdown and then to the monthly breakdown. And then you can also use the optional metric to change the metric that you're analyzing or combine metrics. As you can see, they are also combined comparing to the previous period. And then the table here is showing you the key metrics, your purchase funnel being broken down by channels. So you know how each channel are performing for your in your purchase funnel. And many for item views, added to carts, checkout, transaction. So you can compare which channel, marketing channel are people, how each marketing channel are converting viewers to purchasers, and you can easily see where your where the bottleneck is for each of the marketing channel, and then what the friction is, and you can easily fix that. As you can see, it's also comparing to the previous period, and you can see the total number here. So you can see more filters here, so you can you can filter the dashboard by any of these, like landing page, session, campaign, and then you can use advanced landing page filter as explained in the previous page. And then the next page is the custom analysis page. This page explains customer behavior, specifically first time customer and returning customer. So you can see you have total number of customer, you have total number of first time customer, returning customer, average revenue per customer, percentage of first time customer, percentage of returning customers. And then you see a breakdown by by country and then break down by device category. So you have optional metrics here. Instead of customer, you can see first time customer, and the same thing apply to here. You can combine metrics here, but you can't for this particular chart. The trend section is the same thing. The default metric here is customer, but you can also always change it or combine it with other metrics. And you can use the drill down option to go from daily breakdown to the weekly breakdown and then to the monthly breakdown. And then you have the table here, and then you have multiple filters again here: first user campaign, landing page, and advanced landing page. Just like you have filters here, just additional one that can help you do more granular analysis. So again, you can see your key metrics being broken down by relevant dimension. In this case, you are using first user default channel group. So it's telling you which channel is bringing first time, is bringing customer, new customer the most, and how are they performing. So you are seeing customer, first time customer, and the recurring customer, average revenue per customer. And then you can see the optional metric here. So you can select more metric and add it to the table, or you can, and then you can also remove from here from the default ones. So if you click on the drill down option, you can go from default dimension to another dimension. So first from the channel default channel group to source and medium, and then you can click to campaign, and then you can click to landing page. This drill down applies to the rest of the pages too. You will see it. You can do the same thing with the rest of the pages. I don't think I mentioned that for the rest of the pages, but it's also possible for the rest of the pages. So that's it about the customer analysis page. You can see the customer, total customer, first time customer, returning customer, and then you can see how the marketing channel are bringing in these customers. Which one is performing best in acquiring new customers to your website or your e-commerce store. And then the last page is the traffic acquisition. You can see new filters here, and then you can see the key metrics here: sessions, transactions, total revenue, average order value, engaged session, and session conversion rate for the purchase event. And you can see breakdown by country and device category, which is similar to how I explained in the previous page. And then you can see the default metric here is session, but again, you can change it here or combine it with others. And then you can change from daily breakdown to the weekly breakdown, then to the monthly breakdown. And then you come down here, you can see how each of these key metrics are performing by channel. So you can see that channel, organic search. So you can filter by organic search and click on this to see which source and medium actually contributing. Each source and medium for organic search are actually contributing to the total session or total transaction by organic search, and total revenue, session conversion rate for the purchase event. And then you can change using the optional metrics. You can change the default metrics, and you can also add multiple more metrics to the table for better analysis depending on your use case or the kind of analysis you are trying to do. And you can see it's comparing to the previous period. And then again, you have multiple additional filters here for better analysis. And you can see you have AI traffic source. This particular GA4 property does not have an AI traffic. So if I'm to change that to another GA4 property, let's use this one. You can see the dashboard will be populated by data for that GA4 property, as I mentioned earlier. And then if you click on AI traffic source, you can see it's getting traffic from ChatGPT. So if it's only getting traffic from ChatGPT as the AI platform, but if there are other AI platform that you are getting traffic from, you will see it here. And if you click on it, you can actually filter the entire dashboard by that by that by that AI platform. So I believe that's all about the dashboard. That's the last page of the dashboard. I already explained how to use the advanced filter, and you can click reset to go back to the default data source, default metric, default settings in general entirely. So let's go back to the overview page, and you can see everything. So if you believe this dashboard can help you reduce time on manual reporting or help you analyze your e-commerce store better, just click on this link to go get the dashboard the template, and you can, once you get the template, you click on it and make a copy, select your own GA4 property, and then you can make a copy for yourself. Or if you are a marketing agency or e-commerce agency, you can make copy for as many of your clients as possible. So that's it about this video. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.